Good night, beautiful people. Welcome back to the channel. This is Maxwell Lumumba Africa, and today I'm going to react on a video where we can see Gintu, police officers, the villagers, a man without a shirt with handcuffs, and a person who is called James. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be telling us what happened before what we can see. Then I'm going to translate everything that was said in Swahili in the same video, and I'll be finalizing by telling us my own perspective as far as that video is concerned. In that video, there is a lot of questions than answers, and let me say this: the police officers were acting unprofessionally. Let me underline the word unprofessionally. And I'll be telling us various reasons why I'm saying that. Before that, let me start by telling us what happened before that video, or rather, what led to what we are witnessing in that video. It is alleged that the father to James, for those who don't know James is the individual that is fighting with a handcuffed man. So the father to James went to graze animals on a piece of land that belongs to the handcuffed family, which led to a heated exchange of words that led to the father of James going to Nyabohanse police station, recorded a statement about assault, that the handcuffed man has assaulted him. James, not being the complainant, took the responsibility upon himself because he's the son to the person who alleges that he has been assaulted. Together with police officers, went to confront the handcuffed man. We can see knives, we can see jembes. So that tells us that that was like a war battlefield being shown in that video. Leaving that aside, ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed further, for those who have not subscribed to this amazing YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share this video to other individuals. Remember to turn on the notification bell so that any day, anytime I post any video, you people get notified. Watch my videos from the beginning up to the end without skipping those ads that you see there. Let us show love to this YouTube channel. Let us like all my videos. Let us watch this clip. Then I'll be translating what happened there afterwards. I'm going to tell us my own perspective. The guy is saying, "Give me that knife. Stop joking with us. Even for me, I went for training. Stop threatening me with that stick for a jembe. You dog." Mauricia means maybe a small boy or somebody who is not circumcised. The guy with handcuff is saying, "There is nowhere you people are taking me." Then James saying, "You're beating me with that stick over the jembe." The police officer then questioned the handcuffed man, "Why have you beaten this and the other individual with that stick for the jembe?" And then James has the gut to tell that other individual to come with the Land Cruiser. We can see James trying to attack this guy who has handcuffed. Then the police officer questions James, telling him, stop beating this individual. Then we can see the handcuffed individual attacking James, yeah? The handcuffed man, yeah, tells James, this is my piece of land. Then James tells the man that this is Kenya. This is Kenya. Then you can hear that is Kenya for your mother. Then James questioned, why did you attack my father? So this tells us that this is like a payback time that we are actually witnessing right now. And why are you using him? Why are you using him to arrest the guy? Gintu is asking James, where is your father here? How is this related to your father? Then we can hear people questioning about why James is trying to arrest the handcuffed man and yet is not a police officer. We can hear voices there, one saying that you need to release this one. Both of them need to go inside, that once you are being handcuffed, you have to go to the police station. Somebody is asking, why have you left the other individuals to walk freely and go, yet they're supposed to be arrested, both of them?
Who was having a agenda? He was making the bombs.
The handcuffed man is being told, like, let us now go to the police station. And there is somebody who was asked a question. What were you doing with the djembe? The handcuffed man says, I was using the djembe to make some bumps because of speeding motorcycle. You people just ambushed me abruptly, so I started running. Remove the handcuff so that we can go. If you don't open these handcuffs, I'm going nowhere. Okay, Gintu is telling the officers, you people need to take this person to the hospital before even locking this person in police custody. Then the police officers are like very much reluctant about that. So Gintu is telling the handcuffed man, if you like, you can faint.
Faint bas.
Remove his handcuff and you guys take this shirt and put on, or just go that way. So the handcuffed man is questioning, you people have come with the djembe, you want to beat me with the djembe, you have guns, you have knives and handcuff. What are you people up to?
Haya wako wapi sasa? Washatoroka, mshaachilia, ndio evidence yangu. Kabisa mna fight na visu live. Si recording iko. Yaani umeallow mpaka visu zipatikane. Nimekuja mkimpiga live hapa.
You people have released James to go so that the evidence can disappear. I've just come here and you are beating these young men with the knives, with everything. Then you people are here pretending.
The shooting was for what? Ilikuwa ya nini? Sasa utasema haina shida, but to the reality ungejua hizi brutal, you could have looked for a backup. Point number 2, he could not act positive because you are not having the uniform. That was it. Are you a lawyer? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm telling you the reality.
So, the public is questioning, why does this officer, actually this officer has no uniform. How can you differentiate maybe an officer from somebody who is conducting something that is illegal? How can we differentiate that?
He will come next. Even the arrest warrant,
One of the police officers says, a police officer cannot arrest somebody with no mistake. But let me interject that directly. How many arrests have been conducted in Nyabohanse village illegally? Yeah, because some of the officers are greedy. They need money because they know once I'm given this case, I'll be getting something out of this case. So that is what is happening. Then Gintu is asking, where the warrant of arrest of this individual? If you came to arrest him legally, produce the arrest warrant, then you can arrest that individual. There is officer there called Baraka is being instructed, come and open these handcuffs and this person be released.
Warrant number 1. Number 2, he's a civilian. Hata mimi siwezi cooperate. Tuonyeshe badge, tuonyeshe badge. Mimi naweza kukujua. Uliza huyu kama anakujua. Anakujua. Tudai mtu mmoja, amfungulie. Aenda hosi. Okay, sema muuma bwana.
First, you have come to arrest somebody without a warrant. Secondly, you are coming without official clothing of police officer. Ask even this young man, can he know that you are a police officer? Open for these individuals so that to go. One of the officers is claiming that they don't have key for that handcuff. So, and Gintu is telling them that you are now bringing politics into in this whole situation.
Hiyo mmepropaganda yenu. Iko wapi? Unaanza ku cause much of the trouble again.
Gintu is telling them this is propaganda, and you people now start bringing politics because one of the officer is saying that I've lost the key for the handcuff has just fell down and it has disappeared. Even my phone has fell down and it has disappeared. Bring the other person, that is James, yeah? Bring James so that they can go, both of them, to the police station. No one is going to be left behind. Mother now to the handcuffed person, she's there asking, why do you want to unalive my boy? Then people are now questioning, why do you handcuff one individual, then you leave the other one, beat the one who has been handcuffed? For that is very right and it is very evident.
Imagine a police officer allowing another person to beat him in handcuffs. That's not professional.
Trying to avoid translating what has been translated, yeah. So we can see somebody there questioning that the handcuffed man has been beaten here at the neck region.
Na kwanza kwa gari gani? Kwa gari gani mjamaa ameenda kwa gari gani? Buda, enda uone hapo. Buda, hao majamaa wako na ufala.
Yeah, one of the officers is telling people that James has gone to the vehicle. So this individual has to go to the Land Cruiser so that they can meet over there. They go to the police station. Then Gintu tells them that you people are jokers. So one of the police officer heard about it, then question like us. So this officer believes that Gintu has belittled them, yeah? But in fact, Gintu has not belittled them.
Ana majamaa wako na ufala. Sio majamaa wenye umesema tu kwa gari gani. Sasa mpeleke hosi. Sasa kama hata mko kumkuta. Hata nitajitibu na madawa kienyeji. Then mtamkujia. That's the only.
So after that person has been released, yeah? So Gintu is telling the police officers that you people now need to take this individual to the police station, added to the hospital. Then this person who was handcuffed is saying, I'll go treat myself with herbals. And then he goes. And that is the whole translation. After translating what we can see visibly and what is said in that video, it is now time to tell us my own perspective about the whole scenario. And let me start by saying this clearly. What we are seeing circulating online from Nyabohanse is so much disturbing, confusing, and raises far more questions than answers. And before I go any further, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. I am reacting to a video that is circulating online. I was not physically present when this incident happened. I do not know everything that happened before the camera started recording, so I'm not here to declare that one person is guilty and another person is innocent. So what I am doing is looking at what appears to happen in the footage and asking very serious questions about the conduct of everyone involved, especially the police officer, because when police officers arrive at the scene, the public expects professionalism. The public expects discipline. The public expects the law to be followed. And when somebody is already handcuffed, the situation becomes even more serious. So let us talk about this. In that video, we can see Gintu, we see several police officers, we see a man who is handcuffed, we see another man identified as James, and we see a confrontation that appears to become increasingly chaotic. We also see what appears to be a djembe and knives in that footage, and immediately I have questions. What exactly happened before the police arrived? Who called the police? What complaint was made? Who was the complainant? What offense was identified or the handcuffed man suspected of committing? Was the arrest made without or with a warrant? If there was no warrant, what was the legal basis for arresting him without one? And most importantly, once the man was handcuffed, why was the confrontation allowed to continue? Those are legitimate questions. Now, let us get into the law. Under Kenyan law, the fact that an arrest happens without a warrant does not automatically means the arrest is illegal. That is important point. The Criminal Procedure Code gives police officers certain powers to arrest without a warrant in circumstances provided by the law. For example, a police officer may arrest without a warrant where there is reasonable grounds to suspect that a person has committed what we call cognizable offense. So if someone tells you police cannot arrest you without a warrant, that statement is too simplistic, and there are circumstances where police can lawfully arrest without a warrant, but that power is not limited. The officer must have a lawful basis for the arrest, and the arrest personally has the rights. Kenyan Constitution, particularly, or Article what we call 49, protects arrest persons. Among other things, an arrested person has the right to be informed promptly in a language they understand of the reason for the arrest. That is extremely important, because arresting someone is not the same thing as simply grabbing somebody and taking them to court. There must be a legal reason, and that reason should be communicated to that individual. Kenyan court have emphasized that the existence of power to exist is one thing, while justification for exercising that power is another thing. In other words, simply being a police officer does not mean you can arrest somebody for absolutely not anything. There has to be a lawful basis. Now, let us come back to the video. The man, he's already handcuffed. We can see it in that video. At this point, my question becomes very simple. Why is the situation still being allowed to escalate, even though I've seen somebody questioning like somebody's supposed to be handcuffed toward the back, not toward the front? For that one, I don't know, because for me, I've seen both ways. Yeah, somebody can be handcuffed going in frontward, somebody can be handcuffed going backward. So why is civilian apparently physically fighting with a handcuffed person while police officers are standing there? And we can see another police officer with a gun in a distance, another one with civilian clothes. Just that's where this video becomes extremely concerning, because if somebody is handcuffed, they are already restrained, they are already under police control. So what is the purpose of allowing another person to fight with him? If the handcuffed person was resisting arrest, the police had a responsibility to manage that situation professionally. We see that individual with a djembe stick want to beat a person who has been handcuffed. So if the handcuffed person was violent, the police had lawful mechanism for dealing with that violence. But allowing a civilian to become physically involved raises serious question. Now, I want us to be very careful here. The law does not, or does recognize, something called private or citizen's arrest. Under the Criminal Procedural Code, a private person may arrest someone in certain circumstances, including where that person commits a we call that cognizable offense in the private person's view, or where the legal condition for arrest, such as an arrest, are satisfied. So yes, a civilian can, in some cases or circumstances, may arrest somebody, but does not mean that a civilian becomes a police officer. It does not mean a civilian can simply beat a suspect. It does not mean a civilian can continue fighting somebody who is already restrained. And it certainly does not mean a civilian has unlimited authority to use force. That distinction is very important. Citizen's arrest is not licensed to punish somebody. Arrest and punishment are two completely different things. The purpose of an arrest is to bring a suspect, offender, into a lawful custody. It is not to teach them a lesson. It is not revenge. What that individual is trying to do is trying to revenge. Hear what he's saying. This is Kenya. Hear what he's saying. A lot of things, and I'll be talking about that, yeah? And it is certainly not about somebody wrong or somebody saying This is Kenya, you will know. That statement, as hard is circulating the footage, is something that people will naturally question, because the law is supposed to speak louder than threats. Even the officer himself says, this is Kenya, you will know. If somebody commits an offense, take them through the legal process. If somebody assaulted someone, report the assault. If somebody threatens somebody, make the report. If somebody damaged property, report it. Let the police investigate. Let prosecutors make the appropriate decision. Let the court determine who is guilty. This is how the functioning justice system is supposed to work. Now, let us talk about police officer who appears to be wearing civilian clothes. Again, I want to be fair here. A police officer being in civilian clothing does not automatically makes that arrest illegal. Just know that there can be legitimate reasons why an officer may be in a plain clothes. The most important question is whether the person was actually a police officer or not, whether they identified themselves appropriately, and whether they were acting within the law of police procedure. Already, we hear people questioning, can you introduce yourself? Show us the badge number, yeah, so that we can verify you are an officer. Yeah, we see even a young man beside there being asked, do you know if this person is a police officer? So the video alone does not give us every answer, but it raises question. Who was this police officer? What was their rank? Which station were they attached to? What was the reason for being at that location? What complaint were they responding to? What offense was being investigated? And was the arrest properly recorded? There are questions that should be answered through proper investigation, not social media speculation. Now, we come to something else. The officer appears to claim that the handcuff key was lost. We see him saying that I don't know the handcuff. The officer also appears to say that a phone was lost. Then another officer eventually opens the handcuff with the same key again. That is something that deserves clarification, because when somebody has been arrested and handcuffed, there should be accountability for what happened to that person. There should be a clear record of the arrest. There should be accountability for the officers involved. There should be a record of complaint and the circumstances of the arrest. The National Police Service, that is NPS, has obligations concerning the treatment of arrested person. The police are supposed or are required to accord arrested and detained persons their constitutional right, and the NPS Act also places requirements around the use of force. This is extremely very important. The law says police officers should attempt non-violent means first. When force becomes necessary, the police force should be proportionately to the objective being achieved, the seriousness of the events, and the level of resistance. In simple English, police cannot just use whatever amount of force they want. The force must be necessary and appropriate. And when force results into injury, the law imposes responsibility on the officers, including providing medical assistance. We can see the injured individual. We can see blood in the face. We can see some, I don't know, teeth marks or what was that, yeah? We can see a lot of injury. So, when Gintu is hard telling the officers to take the injured man to the hospital, that is not an unreasonable question. If somebody is injured during an arrest for confrontation involving police, the obvious question should be, Had this person received medical attention, that should be given priority, and it should not be a political argument. It should not be a YouTube argument. It should be a basic procedure. Human life comes first. Now, let us talk about the handcuff. Some people may say he was handcuffed, so the police had already arrested him. That is reasonable observation, but handcuffing by itself does not tell us whether the original arrest was lawful. We need to know, why was he arrested? We need to know whether the police officers had lawful arrest ground. And let me say, a lot of these arrests that are being conducted in Nyabohanse villages, they are unlawful arrest. We need to know whether the person was informed of the reason of arrest. Here you just walk and you get yourself behind bars. We need to know what happened before the camera started recording. We need to know what happened after the camera stopped recording. That is why I keep saying that this video raises questions rather than answering them. Now let us discuss about James. According to the information that I've given us before circulating, James is not a police officer. He is alleged the son of a person who has early confrontation or exchange words with the arrested man. If that is accurate, then another question arises. Was James acting as a private citizen attempting a lawful citizen arrest? What was he doing with the knives? Yeah, or was he simply involved in a personal confrontation? Those are two different things, because what we can see, James is simply involved in personal confrontation. If the issue started because James' father alleged had an exchange of words with this man and later reported an assault, then the proper process should be straightforward. Make a complaint, record the complaint, investigate, identify the witness, collect evidence. Here in the village, nobody collects evidence. Yeah, nobody identifies the witnesses. You are just being arrested. You go inside, money speaks. When you have money, nobody will ever arrest you. But when you don't have money, you'll be rotting in police custody until somebody will come and bail you out illegally. No receipt, money exaggerated. That is what we see about police station, especially Isibania police station. Nyabohanse, they don't have any police station. So every culprit is being taken to Isibania police station. And Isibania police station is just here. Yeah? But if the family dispute becomes a physical confrontation in which a civilian fights someone who already handcuffed, we can see James with a log of, tree, then we have to move away from the clean administration of justice. And that is precisely what people question. Let us talk about the knife. We see a knife. We see two men. Apart from James, before Gintu went to where this thing was happening, two men were trying to fight this handcuffed man, one with a knife, one went to collect the stick of a djembe, and police officer restraining this person on the, we call it waist, waist and handcuffed. So if somebody came carrying a knife, that is serious. But again, we should not jump to conclusion. We need to establish whose knife it was. Why was it there? Who brought it? Why is it being used as a weapon? Was it seized as evidence? Was it connected to the alleged offense? Those are questions investigators should answer. A knife appearing in a video does not automatically prove that the person holding it committed a particular offense. Evidence has to be properly established, and that is why we should be very careful with the social media justice. Today, we can watch a 30-second video and immediately decide that somebody is guilty, but what happened in the previous 30 minutes, we don't know. What happened in the previous 2 hours, we don't know. What did the witness say? What does the police occurrence book say? What does the criminal or medical report say? What do the statements say? What does the footage of the camera say, if there is any? That was, or that is what a proper investigation should establish. Now, another issue is this. If the police were responding to an assault complaint made by James' father, that does not automatically mean the person accused of assault must simply accept being beaten or mistreated. An accusation is not a conviction. Being arrested does not mean you have been found guilty. That is one of the fundamental principles of justice. You can be accused and still be innocent. You can be arrested and still be innocent. You can be charged and still be innocent until the prosecution proves its case in accordance with the law. So, when somebody is handcuffed, the correct response is not, let us deal with him ourselves. The correct response is, let's allow the law to take its course. Now, let us look at the police conduct. Under Article 244 of the Constitution requires the National Police Service to strive for the highest standard of professionalism and discipline. The police are also required to promote the practice, transparency, and accountability. That is not just a slogan, it is a constitutional responsibility. So, when a Kenyan sees a video like this, they are entitled to ask question. Why did the police allow a civilian to become physically involved? Why did the confrontation continue? And this case could go to court, then evidence to be shown how everything was happening. Was the injured person given medical attention? We can only see that individual being it is called what? The handcuff being opened, then it goes. Was it a legal basis for arrest? Was the reason of the arrest communicated? Was the arrested properly recorded? Who was the officer in the civilian clothes? Yeah, because I just see a corporal, I don't know what. I don't know even the rank. I hear corporal. I don't know. I don't know what. You know, I'm like, what is this rank? What is this rank? Yeah. Was the civilian acting under the lawful authority or simply assisting? Why were the knives present? Why was the handcuffed key alleged unavailable? And what happened after the man was released from the handcuff? Those are legitimate questions. Already we have seen the officer wanted to say that the handcuff key has lost. He has lost the phone so that this young man can pay all those things that are being. But let us also say something to Gintu and everyone else involved. If you've believed police officer acted improperly, do not turn the matter into another physical confrontation. Document everything. Preserve the original video. Leave alone what that crooked mongrel who was telling us that don't record us, don't record, because you already seen somebody gathering evidence. Now you are like, don't record. Are you a news reporter? Who told you they are news reporters also? Only they are supposed to record something, yeah? Anybody can record and can get evidence of anything they want. Identify witness, record the police station and OB detail where appropriate, make a formal complaint, and if there is evidence of police misconduct, there are mechanisms of accountability, including the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. But I don't know, I saw the last time people saying that this chairman who has been, I don't know, who has been, it is called what? Not elected, who has been pinpoint, yeah? He only attended around 2 years of, I don't know, you know, this thing about law, I don't know how it goes by, yeah? He only attended 2 years of it instead of 3 years. So he's not suitable for that office. So I don't know about that. That is not a topic to be discussed about that, yeah? Because I usually follow politics. Me and the politics, I follow these on, but I don't engage myself into politics. But I have to know everything that is working out. Right now, there is another person who was selected, yeah, to be the chairman of, I don't know if it's chairman or what, of the IPOA. But it is still under, yeah, a lot of people are saying that this person is not qualified. That is why this person was picked. This person comes from this tribe. So the answer to alleged police misconduct should not be mob justice. It should be a lawful accountability, and the answer to the alleged assault should also be should not be the revenge. Yeah? It should be investigated and prosecution where appropriate. That is how we protect everybody, because today you may support this person to be arrested. Tomorrow you might be the person who is being arrested, and you will want the same law to protect you. Now, I want us to return to something that Gintu says in that video. He questions why the officers are allowing a civilian to participate in the arrest. And honestly, that is the one of the biggest question in this footage. If the police have the control of this, why does a civilian need to fight and handcuff suspect, trying to drag that suspect on the waist? If the suspect is dangerous, why isn't the police team controlling him? If the suspect is already restrained, why is the confrontation continue? And we see another police officer standing 20 meters from where the other individual is. So this tells us something else, yeah? And if the civilian was lawful making an arrest, at what point was the arrest transferred into police custody? These are operational questions that the officers involved should be able to answer. Now, I don't want people watching this video to conclude that officers or police officers are automatically guilty of the offense. We don't know the full evidence, but neither should people dismiss the concern. There is a difference between saying the police are guilty and saying this footage raises serious question than that deserves investigation. I am making the second statement, and that is the reasonable position, because we should not convict people on YouTube. We should not acquit people on YouTube either. We should demand fact. We should demand professionalism. We should demand accountability, and we should demand that everybody involved respect the law. If the arrest or the arrested man committed an offense, let the evidence prove. If James committed an offense, let the evidence prove it. If the police officers acted improperly, let the evidence establish that nobody should receive special treatment. Nobody should be above the law, and nobody should be denied the protection of the law. That is the whole point of having a justice system. Now, there is something that I want to say. This incident should not become another Nyabohanse social media war where everybody chose a side before knowing the fact. We have seen enough drama. We have seen enough accusation. We have seen enough people turning every disagreement into public spectacle. At the same point, somebody has to say enough is enough. Let the police investigate. Let the oversight body investigate where necessary. Let medical evidence speak. Let witnesses statements speak. Let the court speak where a criminal case is brought, and let the truth comes out. Because if the police acted professionally, an investigation should establish that. If they did not, the investigation should also establish that. If the arrested man was wrongly treated, he deserves legal protection. And if he committed an offense, he should face the lawful consequence. If James was acting lawfully, that should also be established. If he crossed the line, he should also be investigated, of which he deserves to be investigated because he was operating unlawful. And my biggest message from the entire incident: don't confuse arrest with punishment. Don't confuse accusations with guilty. Don't confuse citizen arrest with police authority. Don't confuse a viral video with completely truth. Yeah. And don't confuse social media outrage with that. The Kenyan constitution and our laws provide a framework for how this situation should be handled. Police have powers, but the powers comes with the responsibility. Citizens have rights, but citizens also have responsibility. And when somebody is arrested, the government has the duty to ensure that person's constitutional rights are respected. The National Police Service Act requires officers to respect the rights of an arrested person, and the law governing police use force requires necessity and proportionality. So my final question is very simple. What exactly happened in Nyabohanse? Who made the original complaint? What offense was reported? What was legal basis of the arrest, and why was the man handcuffed? Why was a civilian apparently involved in physical restraining or fighting him? What happened to the knife and the jembes? And why did the confrontation continue after the man was restrained? Why was the man alleged injured? Was he taken to hospital? Why did an officer alleged claim to have lost a handcuff key? Why was the man eventually released from the handcuff, and what happened after that? Those are the questions that deserve answers, not rumors, not insult, not threats, not another social media war. Facts, evidence, accountability, and justice. Because at the end of the day, this is Kenya, and yes, people should know. But what they should know is not the power of one person over the other. They should know the power of the law. The law should be stronger than the police officer. The law should be stronger than the civilian. The law should be stronger than the YouTube. The law should be stronger than politician, and the law should be stronger than social media. If somebody has committed an offense, prosecute them according to the law. If somebody has mistreated, protected them according to the law. And if a police officer has violated the law, hold that officer accountability according to that. That is the Kenya I want to see, not a Kenyan where people fight because they believe they have connection, not because they believe they are above the law. Not a Kenya that somebody say you will know, but a Kenya where somebody can say, I know my rights, I know the law. That is what I trust the system has the right thing. That is why the real conversation we should be having is all about Nyabohanse incident. And until the full facts are out, I will not tell you that one side is completely innocent and the other side is completely guilty. I will simply say this video raises questions. Those questions deserve serious answers. And if there was misconduct, whoever was responsible should be held accountable. This is not taking side. That is demanding justice. Goodbye, because I'm feeling sleepy. Goodbye till we meet in the next video. Goodbye.